Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into why your ex was rude and mean right before the breakup. Breakups are a roller coaster of emotions, confusion, hurt, rejection. But when your ex is cruel, it adds another layer of pain. Was it all an act? Let's get into it. Breaking up is hard. It takes guts to say it's over. Some can't handle that confrontation. They become distant, irritable, even rude. They create a toxic environment, hoping you'll end things. They avoid being the bad guy. They might even play the victim. It's cowardly, but it happens. Here's a harsh truth. Sometimes people stay in relationships longer than they should. They might have fallen out of love a while ago, but for whatever reason, fear, comfort, inertia, they just didn't end it. So they emotionally checked out. They're physically present, but their heart isn't in it anymore. And that's when the rudeness starts creeping in. Because they've already detached, they stop putting in the effort to be considerate of your feelings. They don't filter their words. They don't care about hurting you because in their mind, the relationship is already over. Imagine this. Your ex knows they're about to break your heart. They know it's going to hurt you, and that realization comes with a heavy dose of guilt. Now, some people deal with guilt by being kind, by trying to soften the blow. But others, they go on the defense. They convince themselves that they're not the bad guy, that you somehow deserve this. They might pick fights, bring up past arguments, or focus solely on your flaws. Why? Because if they can make you the bad guy, it justifies their actions in their own minds, allowing them to escape the weight of their guilt. And chapter 4, they were already interested in someone else. This one stings, but it's a classic. Sometimes the reason your ex was so mean before the breakup is simple. They'd already moved on emotionally or physically to someone else. You, my friend, became an obstacle, a reminder of a life they were ready to leave behind. The meanness? It was their way of creating distance, of justifying their actions to themselves. They might not even realize they're doing it consciously. They've already painted this picture of a future with someone new, and in that picture you don't belong. Chapter 5. They didn't know how to handle the breakup. Look, not everyone is a master communicator. Some people are terrible at expressing their emotions, especially difficult ones like the desire to end a relationship. They don't know what to say, how to say it, so they fumble, they lash out. Their meanness becomes a shield, a way to avoid vulnerability and hide their own sadness, confusion, or even regret. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does offer a different perspective. Sometimes the person acting cruel is just as lost and hurting as the person on the receiving end. Chapter 6. They were trying to rewrite the story. We live in a world where image is everything. People care about how they're perceived, especially after a breakup. No one wants to be the villain. So what do? They try to control the narrative. They create drama, hoping to provoke a reaction. They're putting on a performance. If they can make you look bad, they walk away with their reputation intact. Relationships are complex. They're full of unspoken words, unexpressed frustrations, and little resentments that build up over time. Maybe they never told you how they really felt about something you did or said. Maybe they felt unheard, unseen, unappreciated, and instead of addressing these issues head on, they bottled them up, letting them fester and grow. Then, when the relationship was on the verge of ending, all that pent-up negativity came pouring out. The breakup became their excuse to finally unleash all the things they'd been holding back. Remember what I said earlier about breakups being hard? Well, for some people, they're downright terrifying. These are the people who avoid confrontation at all costs. They'd rather sweep things under the rug, pretend everything's okay, than have an honest conversation about their feelings. So, when it's time to break up, they take the path of least resistance. They become cold, distant, and unpleasant. They hope that by creating enough emotional distance, you'll be the one to initiate the split, sparing them the dreaded "we need to talk" conversation. Some people are terrified of vulnerability. They build walls around their hearts, fearing that getting too close will only lead to pain. These are often people with what psychologists call dismissive avoidant attachment styles. They equate emotional intimacy with a loss of independence, and they'll do anything to protect themselves from that perceived threat. So, as the relationship nears its end, they shut down emotionally. They become rude, dismissive, almost robotic in their interactions. They're trying to detach, to sever the emotional connection before it becomes too painful to bear. Here's a tough pill to swallow. Sometimes someone else's bad behavior has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. They could be battling their own demons, stress, insecurity, past trauma, you name it, and instead of dealing with those issues head on, they project them onto you. Your ex's meanness may have been a reflection of their own internal turmoil, a way to deflect attention from their own pain. The breakup wasn't the cause of their behavior, it was merely the trigger that brought those pre-existing issues to the surface. Remember, being treated with cruelty before a breakup is unfair and says more about them than it does about you. You deserve to be treated with respect, even in the midst of a separation. Don't internalize their behavior or blame yourself for their actions. Focus on healing and moving forward. You deserve a love that uplifts and empowers you, not one that leaves you feeling small and broken. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more relationship insights.